5,000 years ago, in the forests and ashrams of ancient India, a system of medicine was developed so complete, so precise, and so profoundly accurate in its understanding of the human body that modern researchers are still uncovering its validity today. This system was called Ayurveda. And at the absolute core of its teachings, above every herb, above every diet, above every breathing practice and daily ritual, there was one substance it considered the most precious thing the human body could produce. Not blood, not bone marrow, not even the brain itself. This substance was called Ojas, and the ancient masters of this tradition said something that most modern men are not ready to hear. They said that every man is born with a finite reservoir of this substance, that the body manufactures it slowly, painstakingly, through a process of extraordinary biological refinement, that it is the foundation of immunity, intelligence, charisma, longevity, and spiritual luminosity. And they said that most men spend their entire lives recklessly pouring it away, and then wonder why they feel hollow, exhausted, and somehow less than what they know they are capable of being. What you are about to discover is not mysticism dressed in ancient robes. It is a biological framework so accurate that when you place it alongside modern biochemistry, the parallels will leave you genuinely speechless. Stay with me, stay right here, because this is the conversation that changes how you understand your own body forever. To understand Ojas, you first need to understand how Ayurveda sees the human body, because it is fundamentally different from the Western medical model, and in many ways, far more sophisticated in its systems thinking. Ayurveda teaches that the food you eat does not directly become your body. It undergoes a series of 7 successive transformations, called the Saptadhatus, or 7 tissues, each one more refined than the last, each one requiring time, metabolic energy, and precise biological conditions to complete. The first transformation produces rasa, plasma and lymph. The refined essence of rasa becomes rakta, blood. The refined essence of blood becomes mamsa, muscle tissue. From muscle comes meta, fat and connective tissue. From fat comes asthi, bone. From bone comes maja, nerve tissue and bone marrow. And from the most refined processing of nerve tissue and marrow comes the 7th and final dhatu, shukra, the reproductive tissue, which includes semen in men. Each transformation takes approximately 5 days, according to classical Ayurvedic texts. 7 transformations, approximately 35 to 40 days of continuous biological refinement from the food you eat to the moment your body finally produces its most concentrated biological output. And from the absolute cream of shukra, from its finest, most luminous fraction, the body distills ojas. Now here is where this stops being ancient philosophy and starts being something you can feel in your own body. Because what Ayurveda is describing, this 40-day refinement process, this progressive concentration of biological energy, maps onto something modern biochemistry confirms with remarkable precision. Stay right here. This is the connection nobody is making. Modern nutritional science confirms that the body undergoes extraordinary metabolic work to produce seminal fluid. The synthesis of zinc-binding proteins, fructose energy substrates, prostatic secretions, and the full complement of seminal plasma components requires coordinated input from multiple organ systems over extended periods of metabolic processing. The Ayurvedic masters did not have electron microscopes. They did not have mass spectrometry or hormonal assays. But through millennia of careful observation, of energy levels, of cognitive function, of physical vitality, of the glow or pallor of men who conserved versus those who depleted, they arrived at a conclusion that modern biochemistry is increasingly validating. That semen is not a byproduct. It is an endpoint, the most concentrated biological product of the human male metabolism, and its loss is not trivial. It is the loss of the body's most refined and costly output. Ojas, in Ayurvedic understanding, is the subtlest essence of this output. It is described in classical texts as shukla, luminous, white, slightly golden, the consistency of ghee or honey. It is said to reside primarily in the heart, from which it radiates throughout the body, governing the immune system, the nervous system, the quality of the mind, and the radiance of the physical presence. When Ojas is abundant, the texts describe a man as tejasvin, radiant with an inner light that others perceive as magnetic presence, natural authority, and effortless confidence. His immunity is strong, His mind is clear and quick. His sleep is deep and restorative. His voice carries weight. His eyes are bright and steady. When Ojas is depleted, what the texts call Ojas Kshaya, the picture is strikingly different and strikingly familiar to many modern men. What I am about to describe, the symptoms of Ojas depletion, according to texts written 5,000 years ago, I want you to listen carefully and ask yourself honestly how many of these you recognize in your own life right now. This is the part that hits differently. Classical Ayurvedic texts, including the Karaka Samhita and Ashtanga Hridayam, list the signs of Ojas depletion with extraordinary clinical precision. Constant fatigue that sleep does not fully resolve. A sense of fear or anxiety without clear cause. Mental fogginess and difficulty sustaining concentration. Physical weakness disproportionate to actual exertion. Poor digestion and low appetite. Dryness of skin and eyes. Loss of natural luster in the face, a feeling of being somehow disconnected from yourself and from others, reduced sensory pleasure, food tastes less, music moves you less, life colors seem somehow faded, and critically, a deep, pervasive sense of purposelessness, a feeling that something essential has been lost, though you cannot name what it is or when exactly you lost it. Read that list again, because that is not an ancient description of a rare illness. That is the daily experience of tens of millions of modern men who are physically fed, but energetically starving, men who have everything external they were told to pursue and yet feel fundamentally hollow at the center. Ayurveda saw this coming 5,000 years ago, and it named the cause clearly. It did not blame diet alone. It did not blame stress alone. It pointed directly at the most preventable and most overlooked form of depletion in a man's life. Now let us talk about what happens when Ojas is cultivated and protected, because this is the part the ancient texts describe with almost poetic intensity, and the part that modern practitioners of semen retention confirm with remarkable consistency. The Karaka Samhita states that a man who conserves and builds his Ojas through brahmacharya, the practice of vital energy conservation, develops what are called Ashtau Ojas Lakshanas, the 8 signs of Ojas abundance. He becomes physically strong in a way that feels effortlessly rather than forced. His complexion develops a natural luminosity, what the texts call prabha, an inner radiance visible in the skin and eyes. His voice deepens and carries natural authority. His memory becomes sharp and his learning accelerates dramatically. His sleep transforms, becoming deep, dream-rich, and profoundly restorative. His digestion strengthens, and his body begins absorbing nutrition it previously passed through unused. But the 2 signs considered most significant and most relevant to the modern man are these. First, pratibha, sudden intuitive intelligence, a quality of knowing that arrives whole, without labored logical steps. A sharpening of instinct that makes decisions feel clear rather than agonizing. Ancient teachers describe this as the highest form of intelligence, not accumulated knowledge, but direct perception of truth. Second, tejas, radiant presence, a quality that makes others instinctively orient toward you, trust you, and feel uplifted simply by being in your vicinity. Not dominance, not performance. A genuine energetic magnetism that the texts describe as the overflow of inner fullness into the external field. Stop for a second, because I want to be honest with you about something. When I first encountered this framework, part of me wanted to dismiss it. 5,000-year-old texts, Sanskrit words. It felt too far from the world I lived in. But then I started placing these descriptions next to what I was experiencing personally, and next to what the biology was saying. And the dismissal became impossible because it was too accurate. It described too precisely what I had felt in depletion and what I began to feel in cultivation. And I think if you are honest with yourself right now, you recognize this too. Let us bring in the modern science one more time, because the Ojas framework is not just philosophically coherent. It has specific, measurable biological correlates. The concept of Ojas as the foundation of immune function maps directly onto what immunologists call the innate immune reserve, the body's baseline immune capacity before any specific pathogen challenge. Research consistently shows that men with higher testosterone levels, better zinc status, and lower chronic cortisol exhibit significantly stronger innate immune function. All three of these markers improve measurably with sustained semen retention. The concept of Ojas as the foundation of cognitive luminosity maps onto what neuroscientists study as cognitive reserve, the brain's baseline capacity for learning, memory consolidation, and executive function. Zinc, selenium, and carnitine, all concentrated in seminal fluid, are critical cofactors for neurological function. When these are conserved rather than repeatedly expelled, the brain operates with more of the raw material it needs to function at its ceiling rather than its floor. The concept of Ojas as the foundation of physical radiance, the glow that the texts describe, maps onto what dermatologists observe as the skin's response to hormonal optimization and reduced oxidative stress. Men who practice retention consistently report skin changes, improved texture, reduced inflammation, the return of a quality of brightness in the face that others notice before the practitioner can fully articulate it. And this is perhaps the most devastating consequence of chronic depletion that no one talks about. Not the fatigue, not the brain fog, not the reduced testosterone, but the slow, quiet withdrawal of the man himself from his own experience. The feeling of watching your life from behind glass, of being present in body but absent in essence. You were not built for that absence. You were built for full inhabitation of your own life. There is one more dimension of the Ojas teaching that I want to leave you with, because it may be the most important of all, and it is the one most rarely discussed. Ayurveda teaches that Ojas is not only a physical substance, it is the bridge between the physical body and consciousness itself. It is the medium through which awareness inhabits matter, through which the soul experiences the world with clarity or with fog, with presence or with absence, with aliveness or with that peculiar modern numbness that so many men mistake for their permanent condition. When a teacher in this tradition says that a man with abundant Ojas is more alive, they do not mean it as poetry. They mean it as a precise description of a biological and energetic reality. More of the body's most refined substance means more capacity for consciousness to fully inhabit the physical form. Less Ojas means less presence, less aliveness, less of you actually showing up in your own life. And this is perhaps the most devastating consequence of chronic depletion that no one talks about. Not the fatigue, not the brain fog, not the reduced testosterone, but the slow, quiet withdrawal of the man himself from his own experience. The feeling of watching your life from behind glass, of being present in body but absent in essence. You were not built for that absence. You were built for full inhabitation of your own life. The ancient masters who wrote these texts were not trying to restrict men. They were trying to protect them. They had watched across generations what abundance looked like and what depletion looked like. They had seen what happened to men who honored this knowledge and what happened to men who ignored it, and they wrote it down in extraordinary detail with extraordinary care because they wanted you to know. Even 5,000 years later, even in a world they could not have imagined, even now, they wrote it for this moment, for you, reading these words, feeling something stir in the place where you already know this to be true. Your body is not a machine for processing pleasure and outputting exhaustion. It is a refinery for something extraordinary, something that took 40 days and the full creative genius of your biology to produce. Treat it accordingly, protect what they protected, build what they spent lifetimes teaching men to build, and watch what you become when you finally stop pouring away the most precious thing your body knows how to make. If this landed with you today, if something in this teaching felt like a key turning in a lock you have been carrying for a long time, please give this video a like. It takes 1 second and it means everything for this work to reach the people who need it. Share this with someone who is searching, someone who is exhausted and brilliant and deserving of this knowledge. Your one share could be the beginning of his transformation. Subscribe if you want to keep walking this path together. Every video on this channel is built for the man who is ready to go deeper than the surface. And thank you, sincerely, with genuine gratitude. Thank you for being the kind of person who seeks real knowledge, honors ancient wisdom, and cares enough about his own life to show up for it fully. You are exactly the kind of man this channel exists for. Stay full, stay luminous, See you in the next one.